His only food source consisted of spiders that crawled into his mouth off the walls of the cave. Floating hopelessly, days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and months into years, until eventually he got to day 4,998. He began to contemplate hopelessly, until on day 4,999 he made a chilling discovery that he had to log in his notebook. More rocks. Then his shallow breaths began to flurry, and his heart came to a devastating halt. He was pronounced dead on day 5,000, 5 minutes before a team of rescuers recovered his bloated body.
He slid down the cross-shaped cave until he felt a gut-wrenching and nerve-wracking pain in his neck. It was lodged in one of the small crevices at the bottom, and he had no way of getting out. He was stuck. He yelled out,
"No!"
in order for his friends to hear and send some help. So what they did was throw boulders and rocks in an effort to push him out to the other side, but it only aided in his torture. He was pronounced dead 3 minutes before rescuers arrived to remove the rubble from his body. He crawled through the narrow turns of the Monkey Tail Cave, before becoming stuck after plummeting into the hole in the turn. Due to his unfortunate position, Jackson began to weep, with each tear beginning to drown him as it pooled up to his head. A snake then began to slither its way up the cave after smelling Jackson, and attached it to its foot, thus preventing Jackson from ever hoping to escape his drowning, agonizing death. Harvey crawled through the tight passages before slipping into a cold, freezing lake. Very soon, the freezing cold water turned him frozen into an icicle. Harvey suffered for hours, yelling through the thick ice, but unfortunately no one could hear his screams. Harvey was pronounced dead exactly 3 minutes before rescuers arrived to retrieve his frozen corpse. It was difficult for her to fit her body through the tight cave, but especially difficult once she was stuck.
Help!
She screamed out, which attracted nearby rats to her position. The rats found her immense size very pleasing, and they began to feed.
Help me!
Her screams rang through the cave terrifyingly, and she was eaten alive. The rats fed on her immense fat. She was pronounced dead exactly 3 minutes before rescuers arrived to her position and extracted only bones. As Caleb explored the impossible dimly lit passages of the Devil's Drop, he slipped. Unfortunately for him, a fall from that height made the water at the end of the cave like concrete. He was broken. He was pronounced dead immediately by a doctor on the scene. There was nothing worth saving. He had began to wiggle his way down the curling cave that was the Viper's Nest, before finally reaching the end of the nest and realizing his fatal mistake. They struck, injecting venom, and curiously beginning to wiggle their way inside of his body, moving up like a puppet, until, luckily, the man's stomach acid began to dissolve the Gaboon Vipers. But, unfortunately, he was pronounced dead. Exactly 4 minutes before rescuers arrived, he began to slide down the steep passageway of Boulder Valley before letting out a cough. This set off 2 boulders to fall towards him, crushing him instantly. The boulders were destroyed on impact, revealing he was reduced to a shape. Luckily, he was pronounced dead on impact 2 minutes before rescuers arrived to retrieve his squished body. While traversing the unbelievably narrow paths of the stalactite trap cave, he fell into a crevice, letting out a yell, which triggered a stalactite to fall in an unfortunate position. The open space made way for boulders to then fall. This was probably very painful, and he learned a valuable lesson. He realized his mistake for next time and survived 4 hours, and was unfortunately pronounced dead 4 minutes before rescuers arrived. He swam through the treacherous tunnels of Sharkbite Cove until a raging current tossed him into an unexplored passageway. The ongoing commotion attracted a large shark to his position. Luckily, he was only given a warning bite before being thrown around by the current once more. He managed to swim out before a boulder pushed him back into the unknown area. He was flattened by the impossible weight of the boulder. Luckily, he survived until his air ran out and was pronounced dead 2 minutes before rescuers arrived. The impossibly narrow channels of Satan's Maw Cave was constricting his body ever so tightly, he heard the ground shake. A boulder rushed after him. He was frantic, crawling along, dragging his raw body, scraping across the cave floor. He didn't know what to do. Suddenly, he was struck, sinking deep into the fiery lava. His body flailed painfully. His screams of agony attracted another boulder that propelled him further into the lava. Fortunately for him, he was burned immediately, and as his body flowed upwards, a valuable lesson was learned, but unfortunately, he was pronounced dead 1 minute before rescuers arrived. As Mr. Newman pushed through the damp, moist passages of the puffer perch, one of the animals attacked, dragging him into the water. Soon the fish began to swarm, slithering their way inside of Mr. Newman's body. As they began to expand, his body grew rapidly, puffing like a balloon, floating to the surface. It grew until it popped. But fortunately, he died immediately, although there was nothing for rescuers to retrieve. Mr. Newman was gone. He pulled himself through the tightening tunnels until a group of mosquitoes were alerted to his position.
No! Pesky bugs!
Infiltrated his position and sucked him dry. He was shriveled. Unfortunately, his cries attracted a wild boulder that crushed him instantly. Fortunately, he died on impact, although rescuers pronounced him dead 3 minutes before they arrived. As Carl explored deeper into the cove, he faced a concerning reality. At that end, he yelled out,
Hey, over here!
which attracted an evil crocodile.
No. Stay back! Get back now!
It chopped down on Carl before thrashing violently in a death roll until it decided it didn't like the taste. Carl's other half was taken before he was pronounced dead exactly 1 minute before rescuers arrived due to insufficient funds.
This is the cave diving incident of Henry Cavill, 26th of July 2007. Henry, known best for his cave diving and acting career, traversed through the cave before reaching a very small and tight spot in which he decided to squeeze through. Once he got through, it was too late and he quickly descended down into the cave. He struggled and after a few hours managed to flip upright. His disturbance allowed 3 small rocks to fall onto him, giving him a severe concussion. To quench his hunger, he nibbled on the rocks until they were gone. Henry Cavill soon passed out, and a mysterious archer viciously shot an arrow down into the cave, resulting in Henry's death.